Siona God, hello, all Osha afternoon, good afternoon, and Wado, thank you for watching. So this is day 60, 60, The Transformation of America, the True Life Story of a CIA Mind Control Slave by Kathy O'Brien with Mark Phillips. And we're working our way through chapter 31, The King and I, of Kathy's story. As I made my way through the crowd, Cheney saw me and started across the room towards me. I spotted Vanderjack nearby, who had been drinking excessively, and anxiously asked him where Kelly was. He said, upstairs sleeping. George is expecting you. I wanted desperately to go to Kelly, but Cheney, who was drunk as usual, had reached me by that time. Walk this way, Cheney slurred. He imitated the Oz Scarecrow's walk as he led me through the middle of the crowd to Bush's office. Bush was busy behind his desk and his tension was apparent. He said, Phil Habib is doing a number on His Highness's, and in brackets says Fod's, head. I want you to do a number on his member. Please, Dick Cheney groaned at the term. That means give him a royal effing. Wear him out. You're going on a magic carpet ride tonight like a genie down through the rabbit hole, through the mirror, and we'll meet you on the other side. So what he said was do a number on his, and he used Cheney's first name, which is Dick. But anyway, that's why he said please, right? Because he's using his name in that way. Anyway, says good. He'd better have a smile on his face when we walk in, and in brackets it says to the 3 a.m. meeting. Bush told me as I went out the door, if you do your part right, he will. I was escorted to Infante hotel where I was to be prostituted to King Fahd. I had been exposed to him sexually before, but this was my first time with him and his 5 young girls. What? Physical likeness characteristics strongly suggested that these Saudi Arabian girls were his own children. Oh my God. Their ages range from approximately 10 to 20 years old, indicating genie in the bottle programming of which Fahd was familiar. Oh my God. I bowed and said, your wish is my command. Fahd's first wish was for information, which I told him I would deliver later at the meeting. Fahd disrobed as his girls removed my dress. Then they prepared me as ordered by washing me with their tongues. Oh my God. While the youngest briefly performed oral sex on him. Oh, jeepers. The girls were ordered aside while I proceeded to sexually gratify Fahd according to his instruction and those I had received earlier from Cheney and Bush. When I finished doing my part in the name of diplomatic relations, Habib was at the door to escort me out. I was to meet with Fahd again, 3 a.m. in Habib's suite. As I stepped out the door, Habib was impatiently hopping up and down like he was energized from cocaine. Using his role as White Rabbit, he said in Wonderland cryptic, we're late for a very important date. He led me downstairs to the entrance. Normally they're talking about trance of something, right? So I was like in trance. Entrance of the hotel where Bush and Cheney had just walked in looking ridiculously conspicuous in their trench coats. Bush immediately ordered Habib to call in and gestured to the phone across the lobby. Habib turned and hurried for the phone. Cheney dashed up the stairs, leaving me alone with Bush. Bush said, referring to Habib, don't you love to see the wabbit hop? And wabbit is with W, right? When Cheney returned a moment later, my, in parentheses, identified Secret Service escort led me to the boutique area, excuse me, of the hotel to wait while the meeting in Habib's suite got underway. I had endured water deprivation for some time, which my escort noted as we sat near a fountain. He told me his orders were, you can lead a whore to water, but you can't let her drink. He teased me further, stating that he knew I could suck the humps of 1,000 camels dry. Okay. At last, he took me on to the meeting in Habib's room where Bush, Cheney, Fahd, and Habib were in the midst of discussion. Bush accessed the messages and bank transaction details I was programmed with at Shasta and ordered me to relay an account of my meeting with De La Madrid and subsequent opening for the Juarez border. The complexities of this meeting, compounded by my being privy only to certain parts, should not be documented here out of context. I do know that Bush was setting the stage for implementing the New World Order, using Mexico and Saudi Arabia's roles for cover and for further expansion of U.S. covert criminal activity. This included the arming of Iraq with weapons and chemical warfare capabilities. The message Reagan had me programmed with earlier that day was further evidence of this. I delivered Reagan's message to King Fahd as ordered. Greetings to King Fahd from President Reagan. The negotiations you are about to embark on are not only critical to the world peace process, but may solidify U.S.-Saudi relations beyond your wildest expectations. You have my word that what appears to be the building up of forces in Iraq is but a mirage in the whirlwind. In the whirlwind, yeah, whirlwind. And when the operation is completed and the dust finally settles, you will see that the sands have shifted in time, running out on our adversaries and shifting all power and control to our unified effort. United, we stand to conquer all in the name of world peace and world order, and I am confident that together we cannot fail. The more Saddam destroys, is that much less for us to do and deal with when we implement the order. In the meantime, we all have much to gain and not a moment to lose. It was raining by the time I was escorted back to Bush's residence, where Houston was waiting to take Kelly and me back to Tennessee. And yeah, okay, that was the only footnote, was the one from yesterday. Chapter 32, a place to run, no need to hide. Alex Houston had maintained his capacitor distribution business cover throughout the years, routinely changing company names and customers. By summer's end in 1987, Houston had stumbled onto a legitimate sales inquiry from the People's Republic of China. Unable to profitably manage a legal business, he took on a partner whom he said checked out to have a curious but inconclusive association in U.S. intelligence. This partner was Mark Phillips. Houston had forbid me from meeting Mark until his background check was completed and his allegiances understood. As much as he was intrigued with Mark's past, Houston was enthralled with his propensity for conducting international business. In exchange for Mark's cooperation, Houston and he formed a legal corporation. Mark Phillips became president and CEO of Uniphase. It's UNIPHAYSE. It wasn't long thereafter that he won Houston's confidence through repeated professional successes, and Houston permitted me to meet him. I sensed right away that Mark was very different from the other men I encountered routinely. He treated me as though I were a person, and his eyes revealed no sexual interest in me at all. Instead of discussing world domination, slavery, pornography, drugs, and genocide like the other men I knew, he introduced me to the raccoons he had years ago rescued from certain death and then tamed. I was deeply impressed with how his wild pets loved and trusted him. I could not think to trust, ask for help, or even question at the time what it was that made Mark different. In the fall of 1987, Kelly was enrolled in Nashville, Tennessee's St. Pius, P-I-U-S, Catholic school. Her unusual behaviors were addressed in school counseling, but their causes and or origins were never addressed. Kelly still laughs at the absurdity of being counseled to vent her anger by scribbling the source of her anger on a piece of paper and then jumping on it, with her anger being caused by extreme physical and psychological tortures and sexual abuse. It could not be so simplistically relieved. Houston had forbidden Kelly to display emotion and had so conditioned her. Once, when he savagely beat her for laughing, I huddled in a corner holding her for hours. That did not positively affect her enormous nurturing needs, any more than jumping on a piece of paper. With tears streaming down her face, she opened her bedroom curtains and cried out to what she believed was Bush's eye in the sky. Why do you hate me? Why do you hate me so much? World, when I love you, I want to die now. I can't take it anymore. That, as evidenced by the near-death asthma attack she endured, further proved that Houston's tortures were too much for a 7-year-old child to coexist with. In retrospect, that remaining part of her mind that could question why her existence was too horrible to comprehend was locked away, and so it goes in the life of a mind-controlled slave. In December 1987, my 30th birthday launched the final countdown to my death. Houston was in regular contact with Michael Dante, as in parentheses, as telephone receipts prove, and arrangements were finalized for Kelly and me to be transferred to California. There, I was supposed to be burned alive in a snuff pornography film, and Kelly would become the property of Dante. Oh my God. But first, I had orders to conclude my part in Operation Greenbacks for Wetbacks by meeting with De La Madrid. Houston had booked a New Year's NCL cruise to Mexico for all three of us. Kelly and I were walking among the Mexican pyramid ruins in Tulum, T-U-L-U-M, when Houston pointed out an iguana lizard sunning itself on a rock near the parking lot. As Kelly and I approached the iguana, 2 Mexican servicemen emerged from a dark blue Mercedes. They used the keys, codes, and triggers to our programming that had been provided them to hypnotically create the illusion that the iguana was transforming into De La Madrid. Oh my gosh. This control technique was to build an amnesic block to ensure against memory recall. In reality, we were transported by automobile to De La Madrid's tacky museum-style house nearby. There, Kelly and I were taken into his all too familiar bedroom by a uniformed matronly woman. De La Madrid's bed was a king-size waterbed set in a dark wood canopy frame. This time, the bedspread was a plush black blood red, which De La Madrid pointed out to be Kelly as he set her on the bed. Okay. It was my experience that De La Madrid's bed was in itself a NASA technology adventure. We're going to end it there. Don't go hang, get you in a good channel. Till we meet again. Love you, mean it.